She was the girl everyone loved, then she married me. In high school, everyone knew her name. Evelyn Hart. She was the kind of girl teachers praised and students whispered about. Captain of the debate team. Straight A's. Perfect smile. The homecoming queen who didn't look surprised when they crowned her. And I was invisible. I sat 3 rows behind her in chemistry, copying notes I barely understood, pretending not to notice how the room shifted when she laughed. We never spoke. Not once. She belonged to another world, the kind that didn't even notice boys like me existed. Graduation came. Life moved on. I forgot her. Or at least, I thought I did. I met my wife 10 years later. Her name was Eva. She worked at a small architectural firm downtown, wore her hair tied back, spoke softly, and hated attention. We met at a mutual friend's dinner party. She laughed at my jokes. She listened when I talked. That alone felt unreal. We dated slowly. No drama. No fireworks. Just warmth. When I proposed, she cried, not loudly, not dramatically, but like someone who hadn't expected happiness to arrive. We married in a quiet courthouse ceremony. She took my last name without hesitation. The first crack appeared 3 months later. I was cleaning the attic when I found an old yearbook, mine. I hadn't opened it in years. Nostalgia pulled me in. That's when I saw her. Evelyn Hart. Same eyes. Same smile. My hands went cold. That night, I showed the photo to my wife. She stared at it for a long time. Then she said, very calmly, "That's not me." I laughed awkwardly. "You look exactly like her." "There are a lot of girls who look alike," she said. Too quickly. I didn't push. I should have. Things started to feel wrong. She avoided my hometown. She refused to attend reunions. She never talked about her teenage years. One night, I woke to hear her crying quietly in the bathroom. "I didn't plan this," she whispered to herself. I didn't think he'd remember. The truth came out accidentally. A former classmate messaged me online. "Crazy coincidence. I saw your wedding photo. You married Evelyn Hart?" I stared at the screen. I showed the message to my wife. She closed her eyes. And finally said, "Yes. I'm Evelyn." I waited for an explanation. What I didn't expect was the next sentence. "I married you on purpose." She told me everything. In high school, she knew me. Not the way I knew her, but deeply. I had helped her once. Quietly. Anonymously. Her senior year, a teacher had tried to ruin her future. Accusations. Threats. Pressure to stay silent. I had overheard something I wasn't meant to hear and reported it. The case disappeared. So did the teacher. No one ever knew why. Except her. "I looked for you after graduation," she said. "But you moved away. Changed schools. Changed everything." She swallowed. "You saved my life. And you never even looked back." I didn't remember. That was the final twist. I had done the most important thing of my life and forgotten it completely. "I didn't marry you because you were safe," she said. "I married you because you were kind when no one was watching." I didn't know how to feel. Loved. Used. Honored. Terrified. All at once. Weeks passed. I wondered if our marriage was built on truth or obligation. One night, I asked her the only question that mattered. "If I hadn't helped you back then, would you still love me?" She didn't answer immediately. Then she said, "I fell in love with who you were before you knew who I was." That was enough. We stayed married. Not because of the past. But because, somehow, the girl everyone loved chose the one person who never tried to own her. And I chose her, not as the queen she once was, but as the woman who finally told the truth. At our 10-year anniversary, she attended our high school reunion with me. No crown. No applause. Just her hand in mine. Someone whispered, "How did he end up with her?" She smiled and answered before I could. "He always had me. He just didn't know it." After the queen took off her crown. The reunion should have been the end of it. Closure. Nostalgia. A clean line drawn between who we were and who we had become. But stories like ours don't end that politely. 2 weeks after the reunion, Evelyn received a letter. No return address. No stamp. Just a single sentence typed on yellowed paper. "You should have stayed forgotten." She didn't show it to me at first. That was my first mistake. The changes were subtle. She began checking the locks twice. Then 3 times. She stopped walking alone. Her sleep grew shallow, restless, like someone waiting for a knock that never came. One night, I asked her directly, "Is someone watching us?" She hesitated. That was enough. The second letter arrived folded inside our mailbox, slipped between bills like it belonged there. Some debts don't expire. That night, Evelyn finally told me the rest. The teacher I had reported in high school hadn't simply been fired. He had disappeared. No records. No resignation. No trial. He told me once, she said quietly, that people like him don't fall alone. Her hands trembled. You think he's still alive, I said. I think, she replied, he knows who you are. I started digging. Old court records. Archived complaints. Faculty lists from that year. The name was there, Thomas Hale. Psychology teacher. Resigned abruptly. Official reason. Health issues. Unofficially? 3 other schools had sealed files involving him. Patterns emerged. Gifted students. Private mentorship. Silenced accusations. And then, nothing. As if he had learned how to erase himself. The third message wasn't a letter. It was an email. Sent from my own address. You were always observant. That was your flaw. I stared at the screen, blood roaring in my ears. I didn't send this, I said. Evelyn looked at me. I know, she whispered. And then she said something that froze me. He used to say that exact sentence. The break-in happened on a Tuesday. Nothing was stolen. Nothing disturbed. Except one thing. Our wedding photo. The one from the courthouse. Was turned face down. On the back, written in careful ink. Queen should know when to abdicate. We went to the police. They listened. They nodded. They did nothing. No fingerprints. No forced entry. No threats serious enough. That night, Evelyn sat on the edge of the bed and said something that made my chest tighten. I didn't marry you just because you saved me, she said. I waited. I married you, she continued, because I thought standing beside you would keep me safe from him. The truth landed like glass. I wasn't just her choice. I was her shield. The final confrontation came unexpectedly. An invitation arrived via email untraceable. Faculty Lecture Hall. East Wing. 9 p.m. Come alone. I went anyway. The hall was dark, dust floating in the projector light. A man stepped forward from the shadows. Older. Thinner. Smiling. Hello, Thomas Hale said. You grew into yourself. I didn't speak. He chuckled softly. You think you ended me. You didn't. You educated me. He gestured to the empty seats. People believe what fits their story. You gave them one. I learned to disappear inside it. What do you want? I asked. His eyes sharpened. To finish the lesson. That's when Evelyn stepped out behind him. Alive. Calm. Unafraid. My heart stopped. Don't, I said. She met my eyes. And shook her head. You were never the shield, she said gently. You were the proof. She turned to Hale. You underestimated him, she continued. And you overestimated me. Hale frowned. That was when the lights came on. Police. Federal agents. Cameras. The room exploded into motion. Hale tried to run. He didn't make it 3 steps. Later, I learned the truth. Evelyn had been planning this for years. Not revenge. Exposure. She had documented everything. Recorded calls. Tracked aliases. Built a case that could not disappear. And you? I asked her later. What was my role? She smiled sadly. You were the variable he couldn't control, she said. The boy who once told the truth without asking for credit. Final twist. Months later, as Hale's trial dominated headlines, a reporter asked Evelyn. Did you ever love your husband, or was he part of the plan? She answered without hesitation. I planned to survive, she said. I didn't plan to fall in love. That night, I found something in her old notebook. A page dated before we met. One sentence, underlined. If he's still the same man, I'll marry him. I closed the notebook. Some twists aren't betrayals. They're choices. Made long before you realize you're already inside the story.